The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old.
It is nothing but releases. We have the release of Borderlands. We have the release of a trailer for another game that eventually will be released with Final Fantasy VII. We have the release of fall coming up and pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a connect. Yeah.
Have you had your first pumpkin spice latte, Jeff?
I have not. I have said, nope, not going to happen.
Pumpkin spice beer, we did that one year.
Oh, yes, that's true. Never again.
Once and never again. How was your week in gaming and fatherhood? Besides the main topics, which we'll avoid for a bit.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The family got together and we played a little triple Terraria on PS4. So,
that's a new. I don't seem to recall you mentioning that game before.
No, and I had bought it on mobile years and years and years ago, and it was kind of basic. And they just released a huge update to update it to where the PC was. And I'm like, hey kids, why don't we play this on PS4? It was on sale. So I played with my 9-year-old and 6-year-old, and it's all split screen, worked perfectly. You know, I went with my 9-year-old, we went and hunted stuff while my 6-year-old just like mined as far down as he could go.
So much like taking your kids to the playground, you have one.
Absolutely.
And they're just going to the core of the earth, but not stopping.
Yeah, and it was really, it kind of mirrored real life because we built a little house, which you have to kind of, if anybody knows the game, it's kind of like Minecraft where it's more a 2D plane, but you have to build a house to protect yourself from enemies that are in the world, and they come more frequent at night. So we built a little house. And my son just loves to keep the door open. So again, mirroring real life, close the door. All the things are getting out. That's right. So no, it was a blast to play, and I was surprised at how really accessible it is. And my 9-year-old is a whiz at this stuff, and he was crafting stuff that I am either too old to read up on recipes or whatever you have to do, or he just somehow just intuitively knows it. But he had magical wands and stuff, and I'm here with my just broadsword hitting things. So no, it was a cool experience, and it was a good, it's a good dad time with the boys, and it was something that I think will continue for a bit until our house kind of goes up in flames. Maybe somebody leaves the stove on or leaves the door open again. We'll see, but it was cool. It's cool how you have the split screen stuff, so everyone can kind of do their own thing, but then come back together. So
is it three? It's 3 like split screens then?
Yeah, so it's up to 4-player local, or I think 8-player online. So you could even invite more people in. And like there's no permadeath or anything. Like you die and you come back and you can go back and collect your stuff. So there's really it's kind of chill, and it's a pretty solid experience for. I think it cost me $5. Jeez. So and there's lots to do.
Do you think it'd be more accessible for dads who? Minecraft to me seems to be the gold standard as far as this type of gaming experience, right? Kids, it's stood the test of time. Kids still adore the game, but it feels a bit advanced, or it can be. Does this feel more accessible to you than what would be Minecraft? Yeah,
I just because of the 2D plane, so you have a lot less to deal with when it's full 3D, and this. Everything's presented to you kind of in front of you, so you don't have to search too much. I find Minecraft was, like you said, a little bit too advanced for my 6-year-old, even though a lot of 6-year-olds play it. And there's a bit more reading to it. This one just seems like everything's presented to you in like some sort of graphical area. Crafting's very easy, and it kind of gives you hints of what recipes you need, so you don't have to look up on Wikipedia every 2 minutes what you're supposed to do, even though I did. But yeah, it's a pretty neat game.
You had your dad guide right beside you.
Yeah.
No, it's
highly recommend. And again, you can customize your character and stuff. So we had a blast doing that. So we are all running around there looking like ourselves, purple hair and all.
Oh, that's awesome. Like that. Yeah. I'm telling you, I get so excited hearing about that stuff because my kids start to approach the age where we'll be able to do this type of thing. So the thought that eventually I'll be able to start up a world with my boys and like
Yeah,
just kind of have this chill gaming experience is so exciting to hear.
absolutely. Come back to, I think our world is called Drinking Box. So come over to Drinking Box and to the Smalley residence. And
Come on in. We'll have a little dad server. Should be
that's
perfect.
right. Yeah.
That looks chill. All right. That's a great dad recommendation.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of curious to get your thoughts on it. We had a dad situation, or I
Okay.
did rather, and it's kind of an honest first reaction and acknowledgement of the reaction and the understanding that it's not a good reaction and and going
Okay.
from there. So
Right.
we bought my son his first pair of skates. He's starting skating lessons
Oh, nice.
next week. So
Nice.
classic first Canadian experience as far as
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
as he's birthed onto the ice and he begins to skate like a true Canadian. That should be great. So what I found funny is that we went to a used skate sale, which, by the way, don't buy new skates. Like your kid's
No.
he's gonna wear it for like 6 months before you have to
if
replace
that,
them.
Yeah.
And new ones could cost you $100. So go to this used skate sale. Bevy of options, but the one he goes to are these figure skates.
Okay.
Now, most notably because it has a bunch of Batman stickers all over it. So,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course he wants the Batman skate.
Yeah, why not?
But there's just that kind of initial, like, masculine response to it where it's like, oh, I'd kind of prefer if he had hockey skates as opposed to figure skates.
Oh, right. Okay.
Now, that's a silly reaction, really, because at that stage, like, it is really just how can you put some knives on your feet and balance?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're not deciding his grand fate or anything. And even if he
No.
did, I mean, if he wants to be a figure skater as opposed to a hockey skater, like, man, so be it. Like, that's what he would want to do, and that's the type of place where I'd want to support it. So that's where I came to. I guess what I
Right.
just noticed was my first reaction,
Yes.
despite my best of intentions, is that he went for the figure skates. It was just like, oh, you sure you don't want the hockey skates, or can we get you the hockey skates instead? Now,
Right.
fortunately, like that was just internal, and that's not something I'd say
Put
out
out
loud.
there.
And especially if he wants to do figure skating, that's awesome. Like I've actually, my two boys really liked watching figure skating.
Okay.
So we've been going to the arena. And sorry, as an aside, arenas are fantastic to bring your kids to because there's no rules. It's just cement and metal. Like they can't break anything. And
Okay, yeah.
and the energy is just there's a bunch of other ramped up kids. Like nobody cares. It's great. So like you just set them loose in the arena and they just stomp around the cement. You're like, yeah, fine. Everybody's here.
Go do
We're all
it.
on the same wavelength. He can't break anything. Awesome.
I thought you were going to say like the cold just kind of slows them down. Like it
Oh,
puts
no,
them in a
no.
state of,
They're definitely my kids in that sense where like cold doesn't seem to bother them.
oh,
But
wow.
it's so refreshing to be in an environment where it just really doesn't matter. They
Right.
can just stomp around. So that was great. Anyways, but they've adored watching some hockey. They found it interesting, but they've also really adored watching figure skaters.
Okay.
So they're on the ice. They're doing, their twirls and dances like
Crazy
which-
spins. Yeah.
It's impressive stuff. So, like I said, it's great. So I was just curious for you, had you found yourself with that kind of internal dialogue where you're noticing non-positive responses to certain things that don't really make sense? Like, oh, figure skates. Oh, I don't know if you should be a figure skater as opposed to a hockey player. Well, that's a dumb dialogue,
Yeah.
dumb, antiquated dialogue.
Yeah. I think the important part is that you did catch it. Like you knew better, right? Like you kind of came from that place. And I've had many moments with my 6-year-old he started out, his favorite color is purple. And, colors don't have a gender. But in society, blue is for boys and pink is for girls. And we're trying to, buck that trend, but it's going to take some work. But his favorite color is purple, and he loves to wear like kind of hair clips. So my wife has all these hair clips, and we just let him run around the house, but he wanted to wear them to school. So we're like, first instance in my head is like, it's more protection. I don't want him to get made fun of or, have that experience without me there or another teacher, an adult there that can kind of guide it. But we let him go. We said, this is something that shouldn't be judged. And if he experiences something, we'll talk about it. We kind of gave him the lay of the land, so to speak, up front. And he's wearing whatever he's wearing to school. It's just something that he likes to do right now. Go for it. Why not? And he had one small run-in with another kid, but they kind of worked it out by themselves, and they play together every day. So it's not even like it's not a thing anymore, at least in our experience, which is good. It's good to hear that. So something with skates where it's like the initial reaction is to like, whoa, let's, look at this. And maybe it's more like if you signed them up for hockey, then you need hockey skates. And you're like, no, we need these. I paid money for this course. You need these ones.
Well, I think the worst thing of that was like, Dad, I want to go figure skating. Like, no, let's sign you up for hockey instead.
Yeah.
Like that would be really lousy, right? To
like go try it out. Sure. Let's see where it goes.
But, see the hair clip thing, that one's interesting because it's not so much, there's the second part of it. First is like your self-recognizing, like, all right, I have a reaction to that, but that's kind of just like classic outdated thinking, and great, I'll do the support, that'll be wonderful. The second part of it though is the protection, where it's, as much as we ultimately know it ends up being cool, it's not a big deal,
right?
Does this put a target on his back, and it just sets him up for some unnecessary hazing per se? As much as it shouldn't be the case. It's just like at some point you're like, there's a weird line where you want to protect them, and not in a sense of like helicopter parent overprotecting. It's just like, I don't want to set you up to take unnecessary heat, like during very difficult formative years for kids who are immature. It's like, do I want you to have that target on your back, or like really go gung ho and support? That's a tough one, because like if you wanted to wear, if my son wanted to wear like a tutu to school or something, and on the one side you're like, man, what's it matter? Like, you wear what you want to wear, be confident, enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if he was like an 8-year-old, it's like, man, 8-year-olds are not developed people yet. Full of kindness and understanding.
My 9-year-old, at recess, it was just, I don't understand. They are brutal. So it's totally from that protection perspective. But I don't know, like I've raised my kids in such a way that you don't judge others, and people are free to express whoever they want and do whatever they want. But I don't know what Jimmy Cricket's parents have taught him. So
the old Cricket family.
So I'm not so sure about them. But then I almost want to put some faith in people nowadays, at least until something drastic happens and changes my mind. So I don't know.
It's a bold call. I think it's the type of thing we'll have to experience as it goes. But in your case, you have a few hair barrettes going around. In mine, I got a couple boys who seem to really enjoy figure skating, and if that's the route they go, man, awesome. That's probably like really small. Another aside. Here, let me bring up they went off topic. So I was young. So when I was young, going up playing hockey, it's just classic, like, oh, we're big strong hockey players, and like, oh, those fairy figure skaters, right? Just 10-year-old dumb thinking, right? And I remember the one time the coach brought in this figure skater to give us skating lessons, right? And immediately everyone's like, oh, like what can a figure skater teach us strong hockey players? He's like, okay, you guys, let's have a race. So the figure skater here versus you strong hockey players. Let's see what happens. So the the figure skater proceeded to beat us by like an arena and a half backwards.
Whoa!
That figure skate was so fast.
Wow!
It was like we just like, you can just imagine this host of 10-year-olds like just hanging their heads. As they go like screaming back, like they start so full of pride, like figure skater, we're gonna teach us, and it beats us backwards. It was so perfect. And then like, so okay, you guys want to learn how to skate faster? Yes, ma'am.
Wow, good on your coach. That was a fantastic idea. Just kind of like take you down a little peg.
Take us down a peg, man. So it's some fascinating stuff in fatherhood. We'll have to keep abreast of it, because it's an interesting age we're getting into now. So
that it is.
Now, there's gaming stuff though.
Yes.
I want to quickly touch on this because I could rant the whole show, but I really like the Final Fantasy trailer, and I want to get your reactions. But Borderlands 3 launched.
Yes, it did.
It's so good.
Is it?
It is just so good. Like every review of it kind of sums it up perfectly, and it kind of depends on your angle on it. Specifically, do you want more Borderlands?
Right,
This,
right. Yeah.
this game is more Borderlands.
There you go. That's what you want.
That's as deep as it goes. That's as great as it goes, and it's awesome. Like, it's just fantastic. Like, if anything else, it's really curious is to see this game as a time capsule in a way.
Okay.
Last one was released like what it feels like 6 years ago.
It was a
something
long
like that.
time, yeah.
So 6 years of development to come to like this new game, and all of the usability fixes, like people learning really how to create a fun game, a game that like leads you to places with the storylines,
Okay.
the environments, like the graphics, the world building, where like every environment is just jam packed and lived in, as opposed to big just like sparse spaces.
Right.
Like, it's stunning. It's fantastic. Like, it was a little bit weird to firstly I pre-ordered it, so like we talked about last episode.
A sin.
My original sin of pre-ordering
That's
it.
right.
My secondary sin of doing it on the Epic Store, which is a little weird.
Yep.
This is the
Double.
I was pleasantly surprised that the launch went off without a hitch.
I'm really surpsurprised at that it didn't like just crush itself and no one got
First
access.
day I thought for sure it was not going to go, so I had to sneeze 1 sec.
It is interesting though, like an Epic's game store. That must be their biggest launch to test it on.
No, they're no slouches. I mean, they run Fortnite, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. But I don't know. It just seems to dedicate that amount of server space to. I didn't know how popular Borderlands would be. I am not in that world. You are definitely in. A lot of people are in that world.
Yeah.
So it
Can't be. That's the thing. Again, like a buddy of mine pointed that out. That like, look, like they can handle online load. They run Fortnite. Like,
yeah, that is true. Totally forgot about that. I'm not into Fortnite.
Yeah, this must be like not even like 100th of that type of bandwidth. But even still, it's got to be one of their bigger AAA title releases.
Right.
Goes off without a hitch, and it released in my time zone at 7 p.m., which means by the time I finally got kids to bed and finally got to sit in front of a computer, which is 11 p.m. at night, by the time.
Right. Yeah. You're ready to go. The servers are ready to go. Yeah.
There we did it. No, actually, so I ended up in a bizarrely adult feeling move. I actually went to a friend's house, and there was even another friend there. We all played it.
Oh, wow.
Together
That is unique.
at the system.
That does not happen.
And get this, like there's this option. It's so bizarre because with the antics of the company and people within the company, it's not a sterling reputation. There's some gaffes and some really questionable moves as the game is being about to be launched. So it's not like it's a studio with a perfect sterling reputation. But the actual game, itself is tons of fun, fantastic. That's great.
Okay, that's good.
No real microtransactions to speak about.
That's interesting.
Legit, like you can't just spend money and get better guns type of thing. It just doesn't matter.
Okay.
And as you're playing, you're getting levels and you're getting awesome guns all the time. There's no fake monetization just to make it done. So it's
good.
it's so wonderfully. It's an actual game. It's just an honest to God actual game.
Old school. Can we call that old school now? No microtransactions. Old school game. Is that what we're doing?
This. There is an honest to God LAN option.
Really?
A full on LAN mode. If you and other humans want to get together and play with a LAN cable, you could there's just a mode. They dedicated a mode. It is some of the most bizarre, old timey, amazing things to be thinking about.
Wow.
Like it's just like it's stunning. And in some ways it's just stunning. And it's a ton of fun. The launch went off without a hitch. The gameplay itself is fantastic. It's just very exciting to see all across the board.
Well worth your pre-purchase. So that played out. Yay!
Yeah, the pre-purchase came like a week before it was going to come out. Like I knew it was going to be good. I'd seen enough videos and everything. It wasn't smoke and mirrors. I didn't do a pre-order like 8 years ago. So it's going to be fun.
Sorry. I thought you were like, it's finally out.
No. So that was all good. Now, the bigger release though.
Mm-hmm.
So Final Fantasy VII. It's a little title.
Just a small title.
Little title called Final Fantasy VII has a trailer drop, and like the fury that happened on the furor, like just like the amount of like celebration and like buzz it got, it was unbelievable. Like, and I get it, but I want you to describe like how did you come about it? Like, what was your reaction? What was going through your head as this new trailer drops for what could be the game you've been most excited for in your entire life?
I swear, I don't know. Again, I have no idea how Square Enix outdoes itself. Like, when this trailer dropped at Tokyo Game Show, I went into it, and the hype is there, but I was kind of like wishy-washy. They're only doing a certain part. It looks great, but I haven't seen much. This trailer looks so good. It's like my memories. I pictured everybody as they are in my head, and they've brought that to life. And we were talking before the show on how they almost look like the movie counterparts in Advent Children. And I went back and looked at that, and they look better. I don't know how they've done it. And it's on a console, and it's just straight from a CG cutscene into gameplay. And you're like, this is insane. They show all the characters that I wanted to see, the Turks, Reno, Rude. These show Don Cornelio in the what was that place, that party place where you have to cross dress to get in.
Yeah.
Just glimpses of that part.
That was of all the parts of the show, that was the funniest possible.
Oh,
as soon as I saw him, like it's an updated character model.
Yeah.
But just the way he's moving, you're like, oh, I know that creep. That's hilarious. Oh, there's no way.
Captured perfectly. And just even showing glimpses of the mini games. They included the mini games, the squats. It's the squats right there, the squats. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. So it's, and like they're having humor. Like Cloud gets transformed into a frog with little blade, Buster Sword on his back, hopping around. And even just reimagined scenes. Again, with the President Shinra coming out to meet them and stuff. It's just so much. They're giving me so much that I'm almost worried that I'm seeing a movie trailer where they're just playing everything out that I want to see, and there'll be nothing left. But I know this game's going to be huge. But introducing the summons with Ifrit and Shiva, they look fantastic. And after this trailer, I did not have it pre-ordered, so I have sinned. I have pre-ordered this.
Oh, wow.
Because
the trailer worked.
I was holding off, but this is something I need. I got the Steelbook. It's coming March 3rd next year. Oh, it looks so good. It's just too good to pass up.
Oh, yeah. Up until now, I'd been pretty wishy-washy on it. There's literally to the point where I just don't know if I could go through this game again. Like I've done it a few times, adored it, but I beat it, and I've moved on.
Yeah,
like I'm past it now. But that trailer, what was really reassuring was like you said, kind of the humor parts of it.
Yeah, they didn't
like
lose that.
Like they kept the frog. Like you could turn into a frog. It looks silly and ridiculous. They kept the part about like with the squats and everything else like that. There would be. I'd almost have a worry where they're going to try to adult it too much.
Yes.
Make it gritty.
Too dark.
Dark like adult reboot of their favorite. Like no, it is just. Did you like this game? Well, this is a love letter and a chance to experience it again, entirely in a new way.
Yes.
So we are not going to mess up with the story. We're not going to mess up with the tone, in so much as again, like with the funny stuff where it's like we're too serious now to like turn a character into a frog.
Right. Exactly.
But we're just going to give you a different way to play it, and it looks like flesh stuff out. Like I loved Advent Children, the movie, having been such a huge fan of the game.
Yeah. So,
the thought that you could similarly play through that movie, but the part of the story that you really loved, like
and they're expanding in so much detail. So it's just almost like world building on that memory. So I wanted to explore more of Midgar and go into the alleyways and stuff. And it just looks like they're fleshing everything out. Even in the gameplay with you going into one of the sectors and you're going to blow it up, it looks so massive now. Like like just there as we're seeing, just a huge 3D environment, and then what is a regular enemy, which is this robot machine gun dude, takes a couple minutes to defeat, and it's like its whole endurance thing. And what I will say before I go into other things is that I've seen interviews where Nomura has gone on record saying that they don't want to screw this up. So they're listening to feedback, and a lot of people wanted the old turn-based, active battle system. So they've even introduced a classic mode. So you don't have to run around and hit things, mash the buttons and do whatever. You can allow the computer to do that and just give commands. So they've brought that back in kind of a glimpse of it. It won't be exactly like the original, but it's just pleasing that side of the fan base as well. It's just something that it looks and feels like what I thought of as a kid. So I can't pass it up. I bought in. I'm all in, Trevor. This is hype level. Unless they screw it up royally, I am ready. This needs to come out now.
Man, I think that might be the greatest summation of it, honestly, the way you've captured it there, where it is a realized version of what you felt in your head as a kid. Like that's such a perfect way to say it. Because this is what we were playing when we were playing with those like awful looking triangles that were supposed to represent arms.
Horrible. My son, he sees me play the original, and he said they look like Play-Doh men because they have the stubby arms. And I'm like, you know what? That's right. But I envision this. I envision a fully detailed game that I'm playing. So
yeah, this is what we'd seen. So it's quite the effect. I really did not expect to want to play this game that much, but having seen this, like I want to get back in that world. Like from this perspective, with this fleshing out of the story. But how can you consolidate that though with the idea that this is not going to be finished for a long time? Because this is part one. This is only until the part of the city falls.
Yeah.
Which is, would you call that like a fifth of the way through the story? Like
it was so short. It was so short in the original. Like you were out of Midgar pretty quickly. Onto the boat to Junion, I think it was the next area. Can't imagine
what would be the release schedule you would tolerate? Could you do a Game of Thrones style once a year, except for the final season, which takes 2 years, just to piss you off? Like, what could you put up with as far as this segmenting of the game, and not to mention the price? Like, what was your pre-order cost for
$100?
$100. Oh, well, okay, you got kind of the big, you got the full version though. What's the full pimped out version of that? What is the cheapest pre-order version?
The cheapest pre-order is $79 here in Canada.
Oh, gee. Okay, so it's $80 for 1/5 of the game.
Right. And then the $100 steelbook, and then the $300 full model, like a little miniature crazy edition. So, yeah, no, I get it. That's a good question, right? They said it's 3 parts, at least 3 parts that we know of. Who knows what their vision will do. But if they did one every year, I could totally buy into that. Knowing it's Square Enix, it will not be one every year. It will be, I'm thinking minimum 3 years. It'll be one every 3 years. I know they have the engine running and everything, but we're walking into a next gen console. Maybe it's just a matter of adding better textures and they're done. But I don't know. The next big piece of this game is an overworld. Like they need the whole map done, unless they get rid of that and they do like a Final Fantasy Tactics kind of style where you just move dot to dot. That will be the next big thing.
Man, that's the most worry. That's the second most worrying part is the timing, because PS5 is due
next year.
So this will come out in the midst of a console upgrade. So you will own the first of 3 on PS4, and then have to buy the second part of it on PS5. Now, I can't imagine they're going to pull the jerk move of not releasing the other 2 on PS4.
I don't know.
To be a console seller, because then your cost of owning this game, raises by $500 more.
Yes, it does.
You have to buy the new console.
Yeah, can you imagine the next installment as like a launch title? That would be crazy. But no, you're totally right. They're walking into the wrong console generation now. This will be almost like a Last of Us. Like it kind of finishes out the generation, and then they'll remaster it for the PS5 and have the series packaged. I'm hoping they would throw people a bone and have an upgrade cost, and you just, I don't know, $5 gets you the PS5 version. I don't know, but I'm hoping that they can whip these out faster than. I just know that they're not going to do that. It'll be another 3 years for the next one, and another 3 years after that for the final. If there is a final, who knows? Maybe they call it. Like,
Man,
they're just like, that's it, we're done.
That would be, that would just be so sad. But
it is the biggest question, though.
It certainly feels like a first. Like, I'm sure someone could correct us, but like to the best of my knowledge, and probably the most public one being a very specifically a segmented game. What's the name of games when like broken up like this? Like Telltale used to game. When Telltale games, like they'd be called
like episodes or entries, like
episodic. Perfect. Yeah. So it'd be the first episodic game that spans 2 console generations. Possibly and how they're going to handle that. And if it's on a 2-year stint, like, are they going to release the final PS4 version, like with what could be 4 years after the PS5 launches?
I don't know. That's just such a good. I don't know. Like, you have 100 million PS4s out there. It's kind of hard to say, hey, look, we're done. But it's Square Enix. They always love to push the next thing and not be hampered by old tech.
Oh, man. So I don't know. It's because, like, your total cost of this thing will be
you know what?
$100 for the pre-order, $500 for the PS5. And then $2 more $100 to finish your.
It's an investment in my childhood. This is what nostalgia does to you. It just like tricks you into like, hey, your heart wants this.
This is a $1,000 game investment. You did it. Yeah. This costs more than your PSVR.
That's right. Oh man, maybe there's a VR component. I'm just kidding.
Well, there was with the last Final Fantasy game. There was that standalone Final Fantasy shooter Monster Hunter thing.
Yeah, that's true. Don't give me hope. No, but yeah, you're right. I'm good with this version. If it's all I get, this will do me for a while. It's supposed to be a full game in Midgar. Pre-ordered. I'm sorry. I'm weak.
Hey, you're talking to the guy who, bowed to pressure and bought that pre-order for Borderlands 3. Without regrets.
We're weak. Both weak.
Yeah, we're not doing great on the dad gaming front.
Children do to you. They just run down your nerves. You're like, I don't care anymore.
Whatever, make it happen.
I'm doing it.
It's gonna mac and cheese again. Forget it.
That's
we're done.
Right. That's right. Just like, feed yourself. We have to do mac and cheese. I'm gonna spend $500 on it.
That's all you can afford. Listen. Kiddies, listen, I really needed to play this game from my childhood again.
Sorry.
So your college fund has been dedicated to my Final Fantasy VII habit.
Yeah.
And yes, I got the remaster.
That's right.
They didn't finish in time.
Steelbook of that, too.
Enjoy this craft dinner. No butter.
That's right.
That's a positive way to end this off.
I think so.
Let's end it off
Donate
for the week.
To...
Yes, if you'd like to support our Patreon, to support our Final Fantasy VII habit.
Yes, please. Sony, help.
Kidding, of course. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you want to get a hold of us, you can find us at our website at newdadgaming.com or Instagram or our Facebook group. Now, we'd love to hear from you with gaming stories, Final Fantasy bankruptcies, and any other gaming dad tips that you might have, of course. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and any of the other podcasting services. We'd really appreciate a like and a subscription and a pass along to any other dad who games. So until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 2-year-old, Borderlands 3, and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a pre-order. Please.
And a steelbook. Oh, someday, buddy. You'll play.
I know.
Don't worry. You'll get there. All right. Bye.
See ya.